Welcome, everybody, especially Bindaji. Welcome to you, and thank you for the time that you're spending with us, walking us through these texts. This will be, I think, our seventh meeting for the Taitareeya Upanishad. For those that are new, or just to remind that the replays are all available here in this location, but they're also coming onto line on the YouTube channel that's called Advaita Talks. And the link to that is in Bindaji's profile. And there are many other classes there as well. So that's a really good resource for our studies and consideration. And we'll have the usual format, just so that people know. We'll close off the opportunity to interchange in chat and by coming up just during the teaching part, and then there'll be a Q&A. And the classes are usually Wednesday and Friday at 8:30 p.m. IST. And then we'll have a Q&A more generally for Advaita Vedanta on Sundays at the same time here. Just want to also, and thank you all for being here. This is, it's just a lovely and important part of a lot of our lives. So thank you for being together on this. Before we turn it over to Bindaji, Bindaji, thank you so much.
Thank you, Atmishi. Thank you, Prakash. Namaste, Pranam, and Hari Om to all of you those who are listening to this. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrabhyo Vamsharashibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmatacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parambaram Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Pada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Guru Ratmeti Murtibeda Vipakine Vyomavat Vyaptadehaaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanno Mitrasham Varunaha Shanno Bhavatvaryama Shanna Indro Brihaspatihi Shanno Vishnurukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Ritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmamavatu Tadvaktaramavatu Avadu Mam Avadu Vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We have completed 10 Anuvakas of the Siksha Valli, and each one of them specifically addresses the Upasana aspect of the Upanishad. As we all know, the Taitareeya Upanishad is a cross-section of the real Veda as a sample, where Karmakanda is also being mentioned, Upasana is also being mentioned, and the methodology of how, Samhita Upasana, Vyahriti Upasana, and Hiranyagarbha Upasana and Virat Upasana, all of them have been given one by one. And having done the teaching to the students, 11th Anuvaka, the final one of the Siksha Valli, is some sort of a convocation or an advice to the brahmacharis who are completed the studies. And here you can see that this is virtually following a Dharma Shastra type of a thing, where different methodology of living after having completed the study, how to go ahead with your daily life as you get back to the different ashramas. Now, when it comes to ashramas, the word ashrama itself should be understood. The word ashrama is shrama dhatu, ang upasarga asti. So what does it say? It says that effort, shrama, shrama means effort. When it is added in the verb, to the verb, it can be taken as a limit on either side. For example, when I say Himalaya, Samudram, Bharata Desham, that is, Himalaya means starting from Himalaya. Samudram means till the ocean, which is the Indian Ocean, is Bharata Desham, is a country called India. So it can mean beginning limit or the ending limit. So same way here, ashrama, we have brahmacharya ashrama, grihastha ashrama, vanaprastha ashrama, and sannyasa ashrama. The 4 ashramas which are the pillars of Hindu way of life. I won't call it as Hindu religion. It is Hindu way of life. Brahmacharya, as the word stands for, is where Brahma, there the word means Vedas. Brahmacharya means the learning, practicing, and getting ready oneself for the Vedas to be studied and propagated to the generations to come. So the entire beginning till end, their life is fully controlled, dictated, and they follow what the Vedas tell. Therefore, ashramam, here the effort is for brahmacharya, learning, preaching, practicing, chanting, and getting ready for teaching it. Then the next one is grihastha ashrama. There also ashramam is the word is there, which shows that effort is for the garhasthya. Garhasthya means householder's life. Now, in the householder's life, the brahmacharya continues because he continues to practice the Vedas by chanting and doing the karmakanda of the Vedas, like Agnihotradi and all other karmas, yajna. So this is the place where he is really called a Brahmana. Brahmana means Brahmani Charanti Yaha, one who follows the Vedas. So what does he do? Not only he lives as per the dictums of the Vedas, he also practices the injunctions and prohibitions, all the rules and regulations of what is given in the Vedas, and he does the karmakanta and mimamsa. Mimamsa is basically the study and propagation of Vedas. So there not only he studies, because Vedas are plenty, out of 1380 odd what you call shakas of Veda, we are left with only 6 of them now in today's world. So you can imagine even the 6 Vedas with their commentaries, sub-commentaries, and Vedangas, the auxiliary Vedas, it runs into millions of books, which is impossible for a human life to study. So the study of the Veda, not like a brahmachari in a Andevasi ashram in the guru's place. Here he becomes the guru, and he, while teaching, he also refers to the books, all the teachers. He refers to the discussions. There are Veda Sabhas, where he takes part, and his life is around, those days was around the Vedas. And not only that, he has also the duty for a householder with wife, child, and grandchildren, all to be taken care. Not only that, he will also have students who are coming there. So he has to ensure that the students are taken care properly as of his own children. They are taught Vedas. So all these things, shramam or effort of the person in the householder life is like a big family. That is why it is called a grihasthashrama. Then there comes vanaprasthashramam. Is vanam is forest. Vanaprastham means one who is preparing himself to go towards the forest in the form of sannyasa. That will be the later stage. So preparing oneself to go into the forest, he, cuts ties with most of the activities, and he would have hand over the mantle to his son or grandson or the, other students who will be conducting the Gurukula, and the well-being of his family, wife, animals, everything in the thing will have be properly given. All this preparation takes place during the Vanaprasthashramam. He has not yet left for the forest, but he is preparing himself for getting ready to go to the forest. So that efforts is called the Vanaprastha, and the Sannyasa Ashrama is the final ashrama where he takes sannyasa from the routine life of a householders and vanaprastha and goes into the forest full time into his own self-development to practice the Vedanta. What the Upanishads have taught, he wants to now do the the Manana Nididhyasana on that more to become what you call an established acharya in that. Not acharya, established person in it. So this is the final ashram, and where he will come for his requirement of food and clothing or etc. to the village nearby from the forest. He takes begging for the food and things like that. Whatever he is receiving, he takes that and goes back to his in a place of living in the forest. So this is that 4 ashramas, how in the Vedic period it has been going on there. So these things have been explained by the teacher in the brahmacharya stage itself. As a brahmachari, as an andevasi means resident. It's a residential school type of a thing. So there he is educated for not only for his brahmacharya ashrama, he is also educated for what are the duties and what are the pitfalls and derelictions of duty that can happen in the grihasthashrama, vanaprasthashrama and sannyasa, why is being explained by the acharya there. So this 11th Anuvaka is basically an instruction, a detailed instruction for the brahmacharis who are now getting ready Samavartanam, is the final convocation. After that, they go back to their respective places where they take over the mantle from their father. Because their father is a guru for somebody else. I mean, some set of teachers, or he may be in the same house with his father as a brahmachari. In both ways he is there, but the teaching is that the nucleus families move around and then they establish gurukulas. That is how when the invasion of foreigners came to the Indian continent, it was assumed that there were something close to 300,000 gurukulas, and each gurukula having thousands of students. That was the size of education that was going on in India, which later got disseminated, and for reasons best known, we know what happened to that. So here I'll chant the whole Anuvaka once and then we'll get into the details. Shishyanusasanam. Vedamanuchacharyam devasinam anushasti satyam vada dharmam chara swadhyayatma pravadaha Acharyaya priyam dhanamahritya prajatantum ma vyavachetsi satyanna pramaditavyam dharmanna pramaditavyam kusalanna pramaditavyam bhutyena pramaditavyam swadhyaya pravachanabhyam na pramaditavyam deva pitar karyabhyam na pramaditavyam matra devo bhava pitar devo bhava acharya devo bhava atiti devo bhava यान्यनवध्यानि कर्माणि तानि सेवितव्यानि नो इतराणि यान्यस्माकं सुचरितानि तानि त्वयोपास्यानि नो इतराणि ये केच्छास्मच्छ्रेयागुंसो ब्राह्मणः तेषां त्वयासनेन प्रश्वसितव्यम् श्रद्धया देयम् अश्रद्धया अदेयम् श्रिया देयम् ह्रिया देयम् भिया देयम् संविदा देयम् अथ यदि ते कर्म विचिकित्सा वा वृत्त विचिकित्सात् ये तत्र ब्राह्मणा समचिनः युक्ता आयुक्ताः अलूक्षा धर्म कामा स्युः यथा ते तत्र वर्तेरन् तदा तत्र वर्तेत अथाभ्याख्यासेषु ये तत्र ब्राह्मणाः सम्मर्शिनः युक्ता आयुक्ताः अलूक्षा धर्म कामा स्युः यदा ते तेषु वर्तेरन् तदा तेषु वर्तेताः एष आदेशः एष उपदेशः एषा वेदोपनिषत् एतदनुशासनम् एवमुपासितव्यम् एवमुचैतदुपास्यम् इति एकादश अनुवाकः. So this is the 11th anuvaka. Now let us go to the each word meaning. Anuchya Vedam. Having taught the Vedas, Acharyaha, the teacher, Anushasti, is now instructing the students. Andevasinam means students. Vada Satyam, speak only the truth. Chara Dharmam means follow the Dharma. Ma Pramadaha, may you not deviate or let there be no dereliction from your side. From what? Swadhyayat. From the study of the scriptures. That means even after completing the study, when they go back, the scriptures, as I told you, are plenty in late in which you are to think. So, swadhyayat ma pramadaha. You should not have any dereliction in scriptural learning. You have to continue to do that. Acharyaya priyam dhanam ahritya. That for the teacher or to the teacher, whatever is desired by the teacher, dhanam ahritya. The dhanam means the wealth. It can be in the form of cattle, it can be in the form of grains, it can be form of any form. So ahritya means after having offered, then prajatantum, the family lineage, ma vyavachetsi. May you not break the family lineage. You should not be, the last man standing. No. Tasmat na pramaditavyam. May you not deviate in that. Or you have to continue your family lineage by not only studying the scriptures, but also teaching the scriptures to the lineage. Satyat na pramaditavyam. May you not deviate from the truth. Dharma na pramaditavyam. From dharma. The Vedas are dictating dharmas. So that also should not be deviated from them. Na pramaditavyam. Kushalat na pramaditavyam. From well-being. Kushalam means well-being. Kushalat, from well-being, not only your own, but everyone under you in that Gurukula, for you have to take care of the well-being of everyone. Bhutyena pramaditavyam. From the propitious activities, that whatever is the yajna, yaga, all those things which have been to be performed as a householder, you should not have any dereliction from there or deviation from that. Swadhyaya pravachanabhyam na pramatitavyam. Swadhyaya, not only studying yourself, and pravachana, wherever there is Veda Sabha is there, or where there is the discussions going on, wherever teaching has to be done to, in other Gurukulas, suppose they invite you, or not only your Gurukula, you have to go to even other Gurukulas if they invite you to explain, because some people become expertise in certain aspects of Veda. So every Gurukula, the Guru may not be well versed in all the, activities. So Vedangas are there, Vedas are there. So if you are called by any one for pravachana, for the detailed study of the scriptures, you should go. There should not be any deviation or dereliction on that. Deva Pitrakaryabhyam na pramatitavyam. That the Mahayatnyas. So Deva Yatnya, Pitra Yatnya, etc. Here only two are being given, but you have to the Pancha Mahayatnyas. Na pramaditavyam. In that, you should not have any deviation or dereliction of duty. Matradeva bhava. So here, Matradeva is one word. Here, Matradeva means mother as God. You, bhava means you be. So may you be the one whose mother is God to you. So that is the way it has to be understood. Matradeva bhava. That for you, your mother you should treat your mother as God. Same way, Pitra Devo Bhava. Same way you have to treat your father also as God. Acharya Devo Bhava. The Acharya, the one who is now giving the instruction, and you may meet Acharyas, other Acharyas also in your life. So all Acharyas should be treated as God. Athithi Devo Bhava. Whoever comes to your place of stay as a grihastha, when you are doing a householder's job, any guest who is coming is in the form of God. So you should treat them guest as also as God. So we know that in the case from Kathopanishad where Yama treated that brahmachari Nachiketa as the way in which he welcomed him and treated him. So all those things are, what are they showing? This basically is not only Veda Adhyayana, but also Veda Mimamsa and Dharma Shastra, which is given in the Vedas, are equally important, and these things have to be followed. So, to understand that, what does it say? Vedam Anuchya Acharya, having done the teaching of the Veda, that is why the Anuchya word, Anuchya means after having taught Vedas, the Acharya is instructing. So it is not that the Acharya is giving instruction to people who have studied, whether they studied or not, is not what he is saying. He has picked up the students who he have understood that only to such students, that is the passing out, what they could. Those who have not passed, completed, are retained in the Gurukula for ensuring that they are not becoming a person who brings bad name to the Guru. Also, do not follow the dharmas of the Vedas when he goes back. For that, the Guru ensures that even the last student who is in that batch, is completely equipped. If somebody is left out, he is continued to stay back. Ande Vasinam. He becomes back the student again. That Anushasti means again, so here, each Anuvaka as an instruction. But here is the Anushasti means all the Anuvakas which has been treated earlier is now becoming an instruction not only for the final one is not the instruction. Every Anuvaka is an instruction. That is how Shankaracharya is taken the meaning of Anushasti here. Then we know that Satyam, Dharmam, Swadhyaya, all those things are a must, where there cannot be any deviation or any dereliction of, from the activity which the student is supposed to do. This word, Acharyaya Priyam Danaha Hritya, Prajatandum Mavyapachetsi. These, both the things are coupled together by a conditional word, Ahritya. Ahritya means after having, brought and given to the Acharya. The Guru Dakshina, Acharya Priyam. What is needed for the Acharya? This is where, in the olden days, what Acharya will not give what he wants to every student in total. He calls each one of them depending upon their capacity. Some of them do not have, coming from very poor families. Some of them are studying from the family of the kings or Vaishya family or the businessman family. All of them are studying there. So based on that, he will tell those students what is required for the next batch of students to be trained and given. And based on that, he will instruct each one of them what is Priyam. So here he is not talking from his personal interest. It is not for accumulating dhanam he is going to tell this. It is depending upon the capacity of the student, also the requirement for his continuity of the batch after batch of students, what is required. So that is why the Acharyaya Priyam Dhanam Ahritya, after having done, then when he goes to Prajatantam Mavyavachetsi, it is not that one time he goes and gives a Guru and he goes back. No. They keep coming to the Guru every Guru Purnima day, and that there is a day on which Guru is respected, remembered, and they ensure that some people will be doing it on a monthly basis, some people will be doing quarterly basis, some people annual basis, depending upon what the Guru has instructed to them. So that will continue, and that the Guru, when the next batch is ready, he will shift that from the first batch to the second batch. So the first batch of people are free and they don't have to continue. This way, the continuity of the education is taken care, and that the link between the teacher and the students also remains. Prajatantam Mahavachesi, as I told you, that not only the son, the grandsons also has to be taken care, and the Guru, the Acharya, makes sure that whatever is required for the student to for whether he has not understood some of the aspects of it, when he visits that student when he is a child, and he instructs, and he also looks at the astrology and all those things, and instructs the students that the child prospects, what is the thing good for him, which line of education will be good for him. All those things are being given by the Acharya even. That is why that relationship is maintained even after the departure from the ashramam is taking place. Then Satyam, Dharmam, Kusalat, na Pramaditavyam. These three things are what we have gone into details, and in that Satyam na Pramaditavyam. That word Satyam is not only in the speaking of word, Manasa Vacha Karmana. Means by mind, by speech, and by action. One has to follow Satyam. That whatever he is speaking, doing, and thinking will be as per what the Veda Shastra has instructed. So, Satyam of the Vedas have to be upheld. Same way, the Dharma of the Vedas also have to be maintained, and there also what is Nitya Naimittika, Vidhi Nisheda, all those 4 types of karmas and their day-to-day activities will be maintained based on the instruction from the Vedas. And when we say Kushalat Pramaditavyam, not only, as I said, he is living in a society. So not only he is taking care of his personal interests, his family's interests, his students' interests, but he will also have to take interest of the society in which he is living, so that if there is any dispute or any where there is any doubt in the citizens, the normal place where they take such thing before they taking to the king for the final decision, they take to the acharya to find out who is in the path of dharma, who is deviated from the path of dharma. So there the Kushala, he is not only talking about the well-being, he is also ensuring that the well-being of the dharma is also maintained, well-being of satya is also maintained. So this is how the Kushalatna Pramaditavyam has to be understood. And in the name of the service, when a person does like that, the Chitta Shuddhi also gets, he is also gets more and more clarified about his, exposure to the life's problem. So there he comes more and more about the Nitya, Nitya Vastu Viveka, Vairagya, all those things becomes more and more clearer to him, even though he studied that in the Vedashala. The Bhutyaina Pramaditavyam is a prosperity for the wealth of not only his ashrama well-being, also for the society. So both the aspects have to be taken care. Then Swadhyaya Pravachana, which we dealt in detail in the previous Anuvaka. The Swadhyaya Pravachana Abhyam na Pramaditavyam. So that study and teaching is a must. Deva Pritri Karya Abhyam na Pramaditavyam, where the karmas have to be done, the Pancha Mahayatnyas. That is indicated by this word. So in the Pancha Mahayatnya also has to be part of that, even though only Deva Pitra Karya here mentioned it. Then Matru Deva Bhava is one word, Matru Deva. Tum Bhava, you may become. Matru Deva, whose mother is like God, goddess. Pitra Deva, you may become, whose father is like a god to you. Acharya Devo Bhava, again the same thing. Acharya, you be whose Acharya is God to you. So, and Atiti Devo Bhava. This is one aspect which has been very prominent in the ancient days in India. And Atiti is considered as, see here we should understand, in India, Atiti, Titi means date. Atiti means without date. So why this word Atiti becomes name for the guest? A guest in India is a person who comes to your house without announcing that an appointment. This doesn't happen in the other countries, or I have not heard it. Maybe friends may do that, but here even a person who's going across a village, when he sees there is an Gurukula and Ashrama, he will enter that to take him rest and relax, and then proceed further from his thing. So such persons are treated as guests, not that they have come for unwanted people are coming into the house. Everyone who comes like that will have to be treated as a representation of God, because God will come unannounced. The presence of God in the house is always unannounced. Same way, the Aditi, the person who comes to your place without announcement, Atithi, without a fixed date, is a person who is representing God, because if such a person, when he comes, you revere him, give him time, to place to rest, shower, take bath, food, shelter, and then when he is feeling that he has done enough rest, he will bless you for the service you have done, and then that blessing is treated as the blessing from the God. So this is how the ancient Indian system maintained that. So people who were travelers also never had any problem in traveling from town to town, or city to city, or village to village, because they knew that they will have a place to rest and that they will be taken care. So this Aditi Devo Bhava was very important, and people who are business people or kings and other things, they used to build rest houses en route and maintain staff there for feeding the people who will come for rest and everything. That what you call guest houses, rest houses or guest houses in the olden days. So this system was in such a supportive system for people who were traveling. Those days, most of the people traveled by foot, and some could afford horses, some would come in using elephants or other animals. But anybody who is coming, not only they are fed, their animals also will get the feed from such places. That is how the Atiti Devo Bhava is being taken care of those days. Then comes the next one. Yanyane vadhyani karmani tani sevitavyani no itarani yanyasmakum sucharitani tani tvayopasyani no itarani eke cha asmat shreyan cha brahmanaha tesha tvayasanena prashvasitavyam. So what is that? Tani karmani yani anavadyani sevitavyani. Tani karmani, those action of ours. Here the Acharya is including himself to make students understand that he also does this. Tani karmani yani anavadyani. Anavadyani means not unbecoming, which is unfit. You should not be sevitavyani, should not be followed. That means we should not follow such actions which is unfitting our teachings of the Vedas, and which will bring curse and bad name to us. So, yani anavadyani tani karmani sevitavyani. Anavadyani is the negative word. That is not unbecoming, making it is a double negative. No itarani, not to others. So you should do what is befitting you, not others, right, which are unfitting. So no itarani has to be taken. No itarani sevitavyani. You should not follow what is not fitting. Tani asmakam yani sucharitani upasyani. No itarani. So here, tani asmakam, those actions of ours, yani sucharitani, which are noble, upasyani, should be Upasyani means to be followed or practiced. So Sucharitani Charitam means act, good actions. Sucharitani means noble acts. So whatever those, for us, whatever is the noble acts, that has to be Upasyani, means should be followed by Tvaya, means by you. No Itarani, not the negative of it. Not Asucharitani, which are all not noble, should not be done. Tesham eke brahmana cha shreyansam asmat asane tvaya prashvasitavyam. So, tvaya prashvasitavyam, na prashvasitavyam. Asane shreyasam asmat. So, what is saying that here, tesham means when those brahmanas, eke brahmana means who are cultured and Shreyams, we are superior to us. That means this is what I told. When traveling, one guru travels from one village to another village, he may have to cross another in between one village, where he may take rest in the in between village. So he must be addressed, attended, and asane. So in the proper asana here means seat. He should be given proper seat, means he should be respected and given all the due things to be done so that he takes rest, he gets food, he relaxes and everything. Tvaya na prasvasitavyam. May you not even breathe. The literal meaning of that word is that Tvaya, by you, na prasvasitavyam. Prasvasitavyam means breathe. Na prasvasitavyam, may you not breathe. How can that be? That means you should not breathe from the time that Brahmana enters this place till he leaves. You should not take breath. No. Your respect should be in such a way that you should not be talking too much about yourself and your requirements and your place or what you are doing and everything. Attend to him in such a way that to hold the breath, to listen to what he is saying. Sometimes because of the tiredness, he may talk in a very feebly. You should be able to listen to them and understand that, all the requirements of that such a person who is Shreyas, who is, superior to us should be heard. So here that na prasvasitavyam is to show respect by, not interjecting in between when the person who has come is talking and giving, your side of the story more than the listening to the other side of the requirement. Then comes Shraddhaya Deyam, Ashraddhaya Adeyam, Ashraddhaya Adeyam, Sriya Deyam, Hriya Deyam, Bhiya Deyam, Sambhida Deyam. Now, when such a person comes, how you have to give things. Deyam means should be given. Now, this is not only charity, every action of yours has to have all this incorporated into your activity. Shraddhaya Deyam, with respect. Shraddha, here you say, Shraddha with respect for the receiver. Whether he is a superior Brahmana or is a wayside guest, Aditi, or your father, mother, or anybody for that matter, your gifting or giving should never show that it is not coming out of your heart. That is why Shraddhaya Deyam. And not only that, if you do not have the heart to give, Ashraddhaya Adeyam, you should not perform it. Make somebody else who has Shraddha to do that. Because in your ashram there will be other brahmacharis. So when he's saying Ashraddhaya de Adeyam, it is not only that you should make somebody else giving and you don't have Shraddha. No. You should ensure that whether that person is befitting or not befitting, you should be giving always with the Shraddha or with the respect, devotion and respect. That is how you get respect and value, or you will be remembered and respected. And what are the other adjectives you can add to that? Shriyadeyam. Shri means wealth or plenty. Shriyadeyam. You should not hesitate how much to give. Till the person who is receiving says, enough, you have to keep on giving him. That is Shriyadeyam. Then Hriyadeyam. Hr means by heart. Hriya, with modesty. So when you are giving, Shraddha and modesty, both are mandatory in your action when you are giving. You should have that, the mind to give, the modesty to give with which you are giving, and plentiness to give. Bhiyadeyam. Bhi means fear or concern, you can say here. So Bhiyadeyam means you should have the attention to the person who is receiving it, that so that you don't hurt him by any of your action, by throwing your food or, by making it look like you are given less, or you are not having Shraddha, or you are not having modesty. That is the fear you should have, that I should not have any of this in my action. So, Bhiyadeyam, with all the concern of your action should be showing that you are fully immersed in the act of charity or the giving. Samvidadeyam. Samvida means here understanding. With the proper understanding of the receiver, what he wants, and make sure that he receives everything in quantity with love and devotion, and you are never going to hurt him in one way or the other, never in your actions in your words or your, any of your activity should not make them feel that you have any ill will or, no interest to give them. Now comes the last part of it. Atha yetite karma vichikitsa va vritta vichikitsa va syat ye tatra brahmanaha sammarsinaha yukta ayuktaha aluksha dharma kama syuhu yada te tatra varteran tada tatra vartetaha athabhyakhyatheshu ye tatra brahmana sammarsinaha yukta ayuktaha aluksha dharma kama syuhu yada te teshu varteran tada teshu vartetaha yesha adeshaha yesha upadeshaha yesha vedopanishat edatanushasanam evam upasitavyam evam uchaitupasyam. This is how the 11th Anuvaka ends. So, atha yeti. Atha, now, suppose, yadi means suppose. Te syad, you have a situation. Karma vichikitsava, vritta vichikitsava. A doubt, va means doubt. During the karma vichikitsa, vichikitsa means to do. Vichikitsa means desire to do. Karma vichikitsa means a desire to do. That time you have a doubt. Or vritta vichikitsa. Vritta means in conduct of life. Vritta is the way of living. In both these places, whether you have karma vichikitsa or vritta vichikitsa, and if you have a doubt, syuhu, there should be brahmanaha. There will be Brahmins or Brahma, those who have studied Vedas. Tatra, wherever you are living in that society, there will be other Brahmanas. Ye sammarsinaha, who are discriminating and kushala yuktaha, experienced. And see, in such a place where you are now going to reside and conduct your Gurukula and your life and your progeny, everything you are going to do, and you have a doubt, you may not have time to come back to me and ask the doubt everything. But in your own village or in your own place, there will be Brahmanas who are studied Vedas in totally Tatra, in that place. Sammarsinaha yukta ayuktaha. Ayuktaha means impartial. Alukshaha means who are very considerate. Dharma kamaha means who are committed to dharma. So the Brahmana, the adjectives for such Brahmana is that he should be sammarsinaha, means who are discriminating, who knows what is to be done, what is not to be done. That is nishedam and vidhi nishedam, both. Yuktaha, and they will be experienced because they would have been practicing it. Ayuktaha means impartial. They will not have any partiality in giving the knowledge because you are not from his Gurukula. That this type of Brahmanas will not have any partiality that you have studied under some Guru, you don't come to me. No such will not be there in that. Aluksha, and they will be very considerate, they will welcome you because they know that you have studied Vedas, so they will consider you as equal. Even though they are more educated and considerate, experienced, everything, they will treat you as Aditi Devo Bhava, and they will consider it to you, and because they are Dharma Kamaha, because they have committed to Dharma, because Dharma has to Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. We all know that Dharma is something which is protecting those who protect Dharma. So they know that this is the way in which they are protecting Dharma. Vartetaha, you may act. And Tatra Tata Yatha Te Varteren. You should also emulate these experienced people who are in your village. So Tata Tatra Vartera Yatha Te Varteren means in your place, however they are conducting, you should learn from them also. Because this 12 years of your Gurukula, what you have studied, I have done my maximum, which you can be done in that. I have taught you Vedas, Vidhi, Nisheda, Karma, and Mimamsa, and Upasana, all Veda, Upanishad, all of them I have taught you. But when you have a doubt, Karma Vichikitsa or Vritta Vichikitsa, you don't have to come back to me. You can look at your Brahmanas in the other who are there in your place where you are staying. And with all these qualifications, what I said that, and you emulate them and continue to learn from them. That is the meaning of that. Atha abhyakyateshu. With respect to accused people. Now there will be people who are opposite to Brahmanas, who will be there to accuse you, to find fault with you, and for all those things. In that case also, you should not follow these people. That is, this abhyakyadeshu. With respect to accused people, there should be Brahmanas who are all in that place, who are like Yukta, Ayukta, Aluksha, Dharmakamasyuhu, Vata Vartra Tarteran, Tateshu. Follow those Brahmanas who are considerate and whom you should emulate. not people who are accusing you. So not only you should follow those who are well-wishers of yours, you have to also stay away from people who are accusing you. So this is what it is, that there are two parts of it. One is emulate Brahmanas, and when you have people accusing them, don't emulate them, but emulate these Brahmanas who are, considerate and with all these good qualities. Esha Upadesha, Esha Adeshaha. This is the injunction from the Shruti. Adeshaha means it is not my statement. This is the instruction from the Shastra, Shruti. Esha Upadeshaha. And this is the instruction from the Shruti and Acharya. So, what is Shraddha? The Shastra itself says, Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya Satyabuddhyavataranam. This is what Shraddha is. So here Adesha is from the Shastra and Guru Vakya. Both of them are Satyabuddhyavataranam. Is taking it for as Satya, that neither the teacher nor the Shastra can ever tell a lie which is harmful to me. That is the faith you have in your teacher and in the Shastra. So that is Esha Adeshaha, Esha Upadeshaha, Esha Vedopanishad. This is the essence of the Vedas, which is the words of the teacher. It is not different from the Vedas. So, Etat Anushasanam. This is the commandment of the Veda. Through the Veda, the Lord himself, or the God, has now given us the commandment to follow for the upkeep of Dharma in this world, for the benefit of Dharma being practiced and maintained in the society. This is the Adesha and this is the Upadesha. Etat Anushasanam of Veda. Esham Upasitavyam. Evam Upasitavyam. This is the life you should lead. Evam Upasyam. And you should lead the life in this manner. Etat Evam Ucha. In this manner alone. Ucha, the word said, is for indeed or alone. There should not be any deviation from you in all of these things which have been instructed by the Shruti, which I have now told you. Esha Adeshaha, Esha Upadeshaha, Esha Vedopanishade, Edat Anushasanam, Edatam Upasitavyam. This is what is the final statement of the Guru to the departing students. And he concludes it with Shanno Mitrasham Varunaha, Shamno Bhavatvaryama, Shamna Indro Brihaspatihi, Shanno Vishnurukramaha, Namo Brahmane, Namaste Vayo, Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi, Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami, Rutam Vadishyami, Satyam Vadishyami, Tanmam Avatu, Tat Vaktaram Avatu, Avatu Mam, Avatu Vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Now next class onwards, we will be going to the second chapter, which is called Brahmananda Valli. Atmisha will be putting the Sanskrit English translation of Gambirananda in the chat link. You people can download that book and go through that, because I'll be following Shankara Bhashya in the second chapter wherever it is required, where it is not required. It is easy to understand. There, I mean, I will not be following through, but for you people to prepare and come so that, you have understanding when I am explaining that. It will be better if you follow that. Okay? Over to you, Atmisha. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bindaji, and thank you everyone, and Prakash. And thank you everyone, though, who's been listening to this point. As soon as I finish speaking, I'll open up the chat and put hand raising on, and I'll post that link. You'll find it's about the last 150 pages of the book that I'll post the link to that has the Taitareeya Upanishad. And we'll be going into the second part of that. I know for myself, I'm really, really looking forward to this, because from what I understand, Bendaji, you can correct me, but, the depth and specificity in which we will look to how we find fulfillment and happiness and some discussion of bliss, which doesn't happen, very much with Shankara. So I'm really looking forward to that. Just to remind people, today was the 7th class on this Upanishad, and we covered the first section, which in a sense is a more practice-oriented section. All those are on replay here and also on Bindo's YouTube channel. So when hand raising is open, just to say that, different than the early days of Clubhouse, where everyone actually used their name and we all had bios, people don't do that much anymore. And so it helps if we know you, or if we don't know you, we may pull you up anyway, but we have to kind of use our intuition. Feel free to use the chat to help us get to know you. People who are new to Clubhouse, if you want to consider starting to have a little bit of a bio, because we want anyone at all to be welcome up here. But, everyone's not well-intentioned on Clubhouse with coming up to speak. So, thank you again, Bindaji. But questions on today's class or the Upanishad in general, and then for people to remember on Sundays here at this time, 8:30 p.m. IST, which is 10 a.m. Eastern time, there's a general Advaita Q&A with Bindaji if you have other sorts of general or basic questions. Okay, please feel free to come up. We want you to have your chance to talk with Bindaji.
Pranam Vindoji. Thank you very much for today's class.
Pranam.
Uh, very interesting, section with reference to how, earlier you talked about the Vedic framework of how one engages. But here it's more of a outreach in terms of how it connects with the community. And you talked about, the ashrama, the Gurukula, and then you talked about how it cascades in terms of a person's growth all the way to Vanaprastha. A very, very interesting narrative. I just want to see your own insight on how this can be revitalized, as you journey through this. How can one revitalize this in the current context of things, and more in terms of how this can be a complementary tool to all the other systems we have now, and what do you think would be a revitalization of this? I wanted to know more about that.
Thank you, Prakash. If you are asking for the contemporary evaluation of these statements in our life or the life in future for the forthcoming generations, there are a lot of aspects as human beings which are valuable and can be carried forward at any point of time. Because humanity has not undergone much change from the basic instinct-driven man to an intellectual man You may say that the instinct-driven man has got more intellect now, but we don't find that intellect being used by many. The intellectual category of people are still handful of them. So there, the people who have become intellectual are the people who will be more towards, scientific and correlation between science and today's learning, and on this Vedic learning, and all those comparison may be done. But the dharma, what is being told in this Vedic Upanishad, I am not talking about dharma shastras. Please understand that Manusmriti, Gautama Smriti, they are all called dharma shastras, and that they were written during the period in which they were, in vogue. But that is based on how the society were guided by the rules and regulations of living. Much of that has undergone change, and society doesn't live anymore like that. The Vedic practices have virtually shrunk to very few, huts or hutments in India. And some people are trying to emulate that in other parts of the world, but it is not to the extent in which it was present in those Vedic period. But what has not changed is the values of dharma, satyam, dharmam, kushalam, all those things which have been spoken in this one are still valuable for the benefit of the society. So while the rituals aspect has undergone change, the dharmic values for the well-being of the society has not changed much. But if you remember now, Satyam Vada is something which are not being followed by people. It is only to where there Atiti Devo Bhava is no more Atiti Devo Bhava. People are all more becoming greedy and self-centered. And this is the reason why, the what you call concentration of benefits from the nature is being taken away by some and others are deprived of it. If these values were there in the society would not have this much of disparity what we are seeing today in the modern world. There are generations, people who have wealth which are, cannot be counted in the number of generations they can support. But there are so many generations of people who are deprived of that. So these type of variation which you are seeing is from the lack of dharma which is there in the society. And it is not that those days also there were people who were rich and who were poor. No. Those days also it were very much there, but not to this extent. But because those days, the values of dharma, satyam and kushalam, atiti deva, all those things had repercussion in getting a stature in the society. So people were respected who respected others. Today, people who respect others, you have to look for them and you won't find them many. So that these are all the things which are happened over a period. That is why the values which are being instructed by these shastras have got a direct impact on the society in which we are all living. The lack of that is what we are today, and how many of them can be brought back, only time will tell.
Yes, thank you, Vinduji. It was slight distraction from the flow, but I wanted you to bring forth your advice to the youngsters and the others who are. I think it's a very valuable That's another benefit of for the students to take up and study these Upanishads, not superficially, but a little bit more deeply, I think, because it gives them all kinds of, if you want to call it entrepreneurship, in terms of going forth in the society to create this kind of environment and gradual change towards some kind of normalcy. And the other question that I wanted to ask was, it's along the same lines. See, because all over the world, you have several centers of learning, right? You have various centers of learning. It could be institutions or universities. And you have seen a lot of the world. I wanted to again ask you from that framework, how important do you think is to see an alternative way of approaching, because these frameworks are not easily, they're like water and oil. They don't mix with the current educational systems. So, and what is your opinion about how, because you have dealt with Chinmaya mission and you've gone into the depth of the Vinayas and the Upanishads. I just wanted to just ask you one more question along that lines of how you foresee the future. Right? How can people play a role in this kind of learning system?
Well, Prakash, efforts are being maintained by a handful of places in India even today for the upkeep of these values. But as I have told in the earlier rooms also, the excessive commercialization and the greed among the people are taking away people from following these values, because the one is the population, therefore the competition, and the competition means you have to be one up the other. And when the other person is not following the dharma and is able to take a lead over you, then you are thinking, why should I stay back by following dharma? You also start deviating from dharma and trying to catch up, because competition is ultimately the winner in today's world. This, over a period, has seen that the values and beliefs in the society has really gone to the lowest level, so that it has become cutthroat competition today. If India and the world is continuing this pattern of education without giving much importance to humanity, the nature, both as mutually respected coexistent or cohabitant, what will happen is that a day will be soon where humanity will be faced with the challenge of self-survival. That time, these teachings won't be available for the survival unless somebody understands this and makes sure that at least generations to come, future generations, let them be aware such things exist, and it is for them to see that whether they incorporate or I don't blame the seniors, because they had much more high other agendas, to save the country from invaders, and the invaders totally destroyed the education system in India. So to bring back that system is again, it's an uphill task, because there are a lot of the democracy is not like a kingdom. So you need to appease everyone, and that bringing back find its own problems of bringing back. But as members who are listening to this, please ensure at least in your house, whoever has heard, in your house, you are bringing up these values in your children and grandchildren. They should be aware that such values are important for this society and the nature. While they may get the competitive learning from the educational institutions, the values and beliefs can be taught at the house level. But unfortunately, the millennia and the present day generation, even the parents are unaware of these education, these values. So who will teach the children? That is the biggest question that is there in today's world. All these today, they are all running from 9 to 5 job and they don't have time to learn any one of this. So I really don't know, Prakash, an answer to that, whether this can be helpful for saving the future of the society at all. But there is a possibility if people really take it serious and implement it.
Are you good, Prakash?
Yes, thank you, Binduji. Thank you.
Yeah,
Good.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone. We have a couple people who would like to speak. That's wonderful. In a little bit, we'll close the hand raising. And for those who just came in the room, this is a question and answer following upon a class today, the 7th class on the Taitareeya Upanishad. And we'll have another class on Friday. At the end, we usually have a Q&A related to the class. Srini, please go ahead. Namaste.
Yeah. Namaste, Vijay. Namaste, Atmeshya. Namaste,
Namaste.
Prakash. Yeah, I think it was a very nice session. It was actually heartwarming, Vinodji. I think, Binduji, because one clear thing I see is how intimate the Guru and Sishya relationship and how reassuring it is. Because when I see some other forms of teaching, it 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 actually it looks very opposite to what is being taught in this 11th Anuvaka. And yeah, it was a very dramatic setting, like the student getting convocation and those guru words, the way you explained, are really reassuring and heartwarming, and it is giving lot of confidence, or I don't know what is the right word. It's as if the guru is telling, I am there, you just go ahead, I will take care of. It's like that abhaya kind of. Yeah, it's a fantastic Anuvak. I always liked it when I heard the chanting also, especially this one. But yeah, I think today's session was so heartwarming, and it really epitomizes the relationship between Guru and Shishya, and so reassuring, and gives some confidence that we can also walk the path that they have walked. So it's a fantastic thing. So it's beautiful. Thanks, Binduji. I think it's very heartwarming session today.
Thank you, Srini. You said it right. It cannot be more heartwarming than, assurance from our teacher that I am there. You go and do what the Shastra has said. I have not told it is from my side. It is what Shastra has said, what I said. And Dharmo Rakshati Rakshita. That is what he is ultimately giving.
Yeah, and especially I like that clearly calling out what is Heya, what is Upadeya, do this. This is the injunction of the Shastras. Think, and especially in the setting of that convocation kind of thing, it's like it's dramatic as well as it's so heartwarming, and the transition from 10th Anuvaka, which was like very mystical kind of this rant kind of thing. It has a dramatic effect and very heartwarming effect. Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you, Srini.
Ganesh, welcome.
Namaste Binduji, Namaste Atmeshya, Namaste Prakash.
Namaste.
Really Binduji, it is a very, very great session. Personally, I feel it is, the entire thing is almost addressing, because I teach in colleges, and I could see the the tone of helplessness when you were answering the question of Prakash, that only time will tell whether these societal, humanitarian, and spiritual values like this could ever be even taught or talked about in schools and colleges today, or on the domestic front. Nowhere we could see. My past 15 years of experience as a teacher uh, is completely topsy-turvy when I compared the same with my previous 20 years of service to that. And hardly we could get students would be just having their jaws struck whenever we tell these kinds of things in the class. They are so alien to these aspects. I really get aghast when I see this scenario within 10 years of this period, how the market forces have changed the sensibility of people and the students especially. They are completely unaware of any kinds of these things. There are no moral stories in their primary schools. From the primary schools, they have been set to this rat race of competitive world. And there are slogans in the colleges that greed is good in today's world. You must be greedy. And when I heard that, it is so much of visceral impact that it has had in my mind, that how could we ever present ourselves as teachers in the first place, and how could we represent these, at least few of these values to the next generation, and how this market could be curbed. Many a time I would be telling my students that there is something called a solar storm. If it happens, all the satellites would be burnt away, and again life would start from the beginning, because we are so much dependent on the external world. I mean, this technological world. This should go, these markets should be vanished. Otherwise, no human value can sustain here. And people would be telling I would be anti-management if I'll be speaking in the class those things. And I would be having threatening words from my own colleagues. But I keep it as my mission to tell them all these things, at least in the story form. Since I teach literature, it is an advantage that I can insert these values through stories, and thankfully one or two stories would be prescribed in this manner. But still, I too feel many a time pessimistic. But this last Anuvaka is certainly a complete capsule of wisdom, which could be told even for those who have not studied or who have not been exposed to Vedic sensibility also, I feel. And I felt so much tempted while listening to this to at least suggest my management people to have this in a perhaps slightly altered manner which would suit the vocabulary of which would suit the present academic situation, so that let these things, these values be imparted to the students on their convocation day. Today's convocation day would be filled with only tempting the students to fight for their survival with all their so-called competitive spirit, wherein humanity is totally missing. That's what I feel. But this one is, I feel that it is a silver lining for me to tell my students that 11th Anuvaka of Taitareeya would be a silver lining for their life. And it is excellent, where everything has come in a capsule. I could call this a capsule of wisdom of the Vedic life. Thank you, Vindoji. Thanks for this class.
Thank you, Ganesh.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I think we're going to go ahead and, sorry, poor connection for a moment. We're going to go ahead and close for today. Remember that in the chat, there's a copy of the book in which the last 150 pages or so are this Upanishad, and that we're moving into the second part. I was trying to remember exactly what it's called there for people like myself who are less oriented. In that book, it's called Part 2 on the bliss that is Brahman. We'll be starting on that next class, and Bindaji encourages people to read ahead on that. Up above, of course, there's the mantras in Sanskrit, in transliteration, and in English in a document Bindaji wrote. And so you can just have those to be referring to the mantras. What else? Same time classes Wednesday and Friday at 8:30 p.m. IST, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And we're very fortunate to be here with you, Bindaji. It's a delight. And also for people who are either new to the house, you're welcome to click on the house symbol and join. It's open to everybody. Then you'll find us more easily. But we want to make sure that even if you're new, whatever level you're at, whatever culture you come from, please make the little effort to begin to get to know us if you'd like to be part of this. It's not the case that speaking is only open to people who are already well established with us as a group. So you're all welcome. I think that is it for today until Friday. Prakash, did you want to close it all, or shall we just turn it over to Bindaji to close? Oh, one other thing. I
Yes.
apologize. Just 1 second. I should have also said along with those documents that replays are available here, but they're also available on the YouTube channel that Bindaji has called Advaita Talks, and the link is in his bio. So that's a way to listen back on various past classes. Sorry I interrupted you, Prakash.
No, I just wanted to thank Bindoji again for first, giving us this deep insight into how one can study the Upanishad through his own language, but also instigating a deep interest in us to go and actually, engage with those kind of beautiful wisdoms and knowledge frameworks. But I also respect his deep insight into how these current social contexts are still demanding this kind of need for this kind of wisdom, and how one could play a role, by being true to the wisdom. Just being true to the wisdom, I think, was a very valuable words of wisdom he shared. That that we can be true to this, and just being true to this allows us to build a community and slowly progress. And a lot of the changes we cannot really control, but at least being true to this. So thank you, Binduji. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Atmisha. Thank you, Prakash. Thank you, Srini and Ganesh. And thank everyone who are in the audience. Next class onwards is a very serious class. And if you don't come in the beginning itself, you'll be missing a lot. Because each word from the next class onwards is talking about how Brahman is of the nature of bliss. It's a very difficult section for explaining it, but at the same time, thanks to Shankaracharya's detailed commentary, we will try to do it to best of my ability. There will be a lot of shortcoming because from my side, I will tell you, I will try my level best to make you people feel the bliss within yourself. But be prepared with open heart and listen to that step by step. Why Shankaracharya wanted us to travel along with him in his analysis and understanding. The definition for Brahma is Satyatyanam Anantam Brahma. That will come in the second statement. And before that, he gives the Upanishad says that Brahma vid apnoti param. The one who knows Brahman attains Brahman. Apnoti param, param means Parabrahman here. So these are the two words which are going to start, but these two words will be picked up for discussion maybe after 3 or 4 classes. Before that, Shankaracharya has written a beautiful commentary how to understand these statements of the Upanishad. That is what it is going to be. From Friday's class, we'll make a humble beginning and see how best we can learn that so that the words become our living experience. Hari Om. Thank you all. See you on Friday.